Mike Chastain, an application engineer here with Keysight Technologies. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to burst an arbitrary waveform based on an external trigger pulse with the N6705A DC power analyzer and an N6762A power module. So let's get started. Here we have our N6705A DC power analyzer. We have a function generator generating an external trigger pulse, and that is going to the rear BNC input on the back of this power analyzer. Channel 1 is output to an oscilloscope, so we can show you
the output waveform later.
So first things first, we need to make sure we have the right channel selected. Channel 2, 3, 4. So we have our output on channel 1. So select channel 1, turn the output on, and go to the ARB menu. Here we have the ARB preview menu, and first thing that we want to do is make sure this trigger source is selected to BNC trigger in. Next, we want to select channel 1 to configure our ARB. Here we have the ARB selection menu with some built-in arbitrary waveform functions, but we're going to use sequence. So select sequence and go down to ARB properties. Here we have a table where we can configure different steps based on different arbitrary waveforms. Right now we're just going to use pulse for this demonstration. So let's go to edit and edit this pulse. Here we can select the different voltage levels and times of the pulse waveform. So some quick configurations. Okay, now we have our pulse characteristics set up, but an important step here is to make sure this move to next step via trigger selected. And for this demonstration, we're going to burst 2 pulses per trigger. So make sure the repeat count is on 2. Close out, and then you'll notice in the table, the pacing is triggered, which is what we want. So now let's go down to advanced, and let's make sure this is continuous. I'll explain the repeat count a little bit later. Okay, after that, we're done. So hit the ARB run stop button, and then if you look at the scope, you can see there are two pulses per trigger pulse. The yellow channel is our external trigger. The green channel is from the DC power analyzer. So as you can see, no matter how many trigger pulses you send, 2 pulses will always be burst out. Okay, so now if we want to single shot some pulses, what we need to do is first turn the ARB run stop button off, go back to advanced, deselect continuous, and change the repeat count. So let's say you want to accept 3 triggers, and on those 3 triggers you want to output those 2 pulses. Okay, so let's hit 3, hit enter, hit close, and hit the ARB run stop button again. As you can see on the scope, there are multiple, it's like 5 external triggers, and only 3 arbitrary waveforms are bursting. That's all there is to it. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.